today we're going to talk about the economic crisis since COVID-19. For starters, coronavirus had a huge impact in the world in all aspects you can imagine. For example, the economic, the political, the social, the psychological, family and friends, between others. In this investigation, we're going to focus on the economical aspect. The results we have seen are that the airplane and the flight sector have been hit seriously because in the pandemic you couldn't get out of your home. So this means that you couldn't get in a plane. This means that not a single airplane leaves the airport. Some countries had banned the international and national flights. This also made the airlines lose a lot of money because they didn't have income, so a lot of them had to close entirely, or some of them cancel some specific flights. This is going to take approximately 2 years of recovery for the airlines to get up economically and to return to their pre-pandemic earnings. In addition, the COVID affected it in a very strong way. This due to the globalization of the market. Although before the market was not so connected, after the outbreak of the SARS virus epidemic in 2003, China was forced to open its doors to foreign trade, and that is how market was finally connected. So a pandemic such as COVID-19 affected many countries drastically. However, there were some that benefited in different aspects and many more things.
Hi, my name is Diego Barreto and today I'm gonna present the results of our team in the investigation. Well, the coronavirus or COVID-19 outbreak has caused significant human suffering and significant economic disruption. In China, containment measures, including quarantines and sweeping restrictions on labor movements and travel, have led to unexpected delays in factory reopenings and a sharp cut in activity in many services sectors. These measures meant a sharp drop in production. Subsequent outbreaks in other countries, including South Korea and Italy, have also prompted containment measures such as quarantines and border closures, and the adverse consequences of the developments for other countries are significant, including direct disruption to global supply chains, weaker final demand for imported goods and services, and a broader regional decline in international tourism and business travel. Risk aversion in financial market has increased, with the 10-year US interest rate falling to a record low, stock prices falling sharply, commodity prices falling, and business and consumer confidence waning. The COVID-19 pandemic broke out at a time of heightened economic uncertainty around the world. We analyze how COVID-19 may deepen the existing malaise in the global economy, assess the effectiveness of policies to combat the pandemic, and reinvigorating the global economy, and forecasting the process of economic recovery in the post-pandemic era. Also, we analyze how COVID-19 is likely to be deepen existing in malaise in the global economy. Well, they could be managed by the creation of a new global social contract backed by strong public policies at all levels, especially at the national level. The epidemic has economic consequences, mainly due to the sometimes drastic measurements taken by the authorities to prevent further spread of the virus. One of the restrictive measures China has taken to combat the spread of the COVID is that the nationwide shutdown of factories. This shutdown has had a major impact on the economic activity of the international company because it relies on imports of components from China for its production. The French economy minister Bruno Le Maire sees the outbreak as an event that will revolutionize current developments. Many industries have long relied on Chinese raw materials or products. For example, 95% of the battery supply in the healthcare industry and 80% of the raw materials for active pharmaceutical ingredients come from China or Asia. And well, the dependency on raw materials is an obstacle.
Speaking now of COVID-19, this one will be a little longer due to this duration. The Japan Automobile Manufacturing Association reports that the country's new car market decreased by 9.2%. In addition, the European car market has been affected by the coronavirus crisis. ASEA's weekly car crisis reports reveal that France, Spain, Italy, and Germany are having the most difficult coping with car production disruption. With data from the United Kingdom and all the countries of the European Union included, at least 1 million cars were stopped by the crisis. Since the beginning of the corona crisis, the airline, tourism, and hospitality industries have been affected. In addition to the automobile industries, all international companies must learn a lesson from this crisis by establishing a network of suppliers. The COVID-19 crisis had a significant effect on the airline industries due to decreased demand from travelers and the resulting restrictions on where they can travel. The most recent forecast of how much the global airline industry will lose in 2020 because of the impact of the corona crisis has been published by the International Air Transport Association. According to the calculations, coronavirus could cost the airlines industry around $50 billion. In today's globalized economy, countries are closely integrated so that the occurrence of certain types of economy or financial shocks in any part of the world would have a medium to high impact on other countries. Therefore, the expectation that the consequences of the Chinese economy from the emergence of COVID-19 will have a significant impact on all economies in the world were justified. India and the Philippines have paid a heavy price in terms of economic activity. The drastic economic shutdown in India is probably increasing in food insecurity, employment, and poverty. This is true for many developing countries, in particular the poor people in these countries have lost much of the progress in terms of food security and income that they had gained in recent years.
Well, the outbreak and the consequences of the spread of the virus have revealed unreasonable dependence on China. Many sectors have long been dependent on Chinese raw materials or products. For instance, 95% of the supply of electric batteries and 80% of the raw materials for the active components of a drug in the health industry from China or Asia. Another obstacle is the dependency on raw materials or products. The global economy has become substantially more interconnected, and China plays a far greater role in global output, trade, tourism, and commodity markets. This magnifies the economic spillovers to the other countries from an adverse shock in China. Even if the peak of the outbreak proves short-lived, with gradual recovery in output and demand over the next few months. While nowadays global economy prevails, the countries are more integrated or grouped together than before. This may be because certain tests of the economy or financial shocks or crises have made it a better option to work together, especially in terms of commerce and economy. Being integrated while impact, one country affects the other one since they become dependent on other's country economy. Therefore, there have been expectations and consequences that the impact the Chinese economy because of the pandemic of COVID-19 will have an impact in the same way to other economies of different countries. This crisis affected many industries such as the financial market, travel, tourism, airline business, industrial production, and automotive. The actual situation that most of the economists around the world are suffering is because most of the decisions about how to manage the pandemic have been taken by politicians, not by economists. So in the future, to have more positive results for this type of crisis, we need politicians that have some preparation or advice from economists.